everybody, it's Romania Black, and surprise! So, I want to give, first and foremost, a very special thank you to YouTube for helping me to hit 9,000 subscribers. That doesn't seem like a lot in the sense of YouTube presences. I know it's a drop in the bucket. It's like, oh, 9,000, what paltry subscribers. But I'm very grateful because I don't do like ads on YouTube. I don't monetize on YouTube. I don't do that. I really just depend on my Patreon for funds to support the channel. And so I really appreciate all the support you all have given to kind of give me some trajectory and some presence and telling others about my channel and things like that. And I hope that you're enjoying the reactions and discussions and all that they are entailed within. So yeah, I originally was going to watch a movie for the 9,000 YouTube sub goal. However, I am watching a movie as a Patreon exclusive this month. So I was like, 2 movies? I don't know. And then I kept getting flooded with, have you watched Hazbin Hotel? Have you seen Hazbin Hotel? Has that been a thing? Do you know about Hazbin Hotel? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I originally told those people, I was like, maybe when I hit 15,000, I'll just watch the series. But yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I really kind of want to watch it. So what we're going to do is, first and foremost, I will be completely transparent. 4 years ago, before I even started this channel, like right before I started this channel, I did watch the pilot. It's been 4 years, so we're going to go back today and rewatch it and talk through it because I don't remember hardly anything about it. And my brother has been watching this series. My younger brother has been watching Hazbin Hotel, and they've been like, are you going to watch it? And I was like, I don't know. So I've asked them not to tell me anything, and they were like, well, you probably want to watch the pilot again if you do. And I was like, okay, because it may be a continuity thing where it leads into the opening pilot. So the 3 things I remember about Hazbin Hotel are, first of all, it's pretty crass and vulgar from what I remember in the pilot. And I was like, ooh, because people usually have a very skewed, like mainstream audiences have a very skewed perception about animation and about anime. They think anime is all big boobs and maybe porn and also like crazy hairdos. It's not. And then they think that cartoons are for children. They're not. So there are children cartoons, but Hazbin Hotel, I remember the one thing was it was very crass and vulgar and was kind of like, no, we are not for children. Don't show your kiddos this. It's not going to be nice for them. And it's like, okay. So I'm going to be very curious to see from the pilot to the marketed, produced season if it's going to be as crass and vulgar. My intuition would be that they're going to water it down and make it more family friendly for the Hazbin Hotel that is, you know, in the mainstream audiences with the production value, but they may not. They may be like, yeah, we're going to keep the crassness of the original and just take it to a different level. We'll see, right? The second thing is that I remember Hazbin Hotel is a musical, and I don't watch a lot of musicals, so I'm like, I know of musicals. I've watched a few, but I am nowhere near like the musical theater discography of knowledge, right? So I do remember that this is a musical. I'm going to be curious to see if they make the new season a musical and keep that element. We'll see. And then the third thing I know is that Elsie Lovelock, who I love, her voice is amazing. She doesn't have it on her YouTube channel anymore, and I'm so sad about it, but she did a cover of The Bells of Notre Dame. It is incredible. I think maybe the high note that she sings is still on YouTube if you can find it. Oh my God, life-changing. But she does covers on YouTube of songs. Elsie Lovelock's voice is immaculate, and she was Charlie in the pilot. But I don't think she's Charlie in the new season. I remember her posting a tweet saying that she wasn't going to be Charlie just for scheduling reasons, things like that. So those are the only 3 things I know about Hazbin Hotel. Like I said, it's been 4 years since I've watched the pilot. I have changed as a person since then. And it'd be nice to go back and rewatch it with you all and then dive into the actual show itself. So as per usual, just because I'm not sure how copyright things like that will go with YouTube and on here, there is a link down below in the underworld itself for the reaction to the pilot and the episode. We're going to watch them basically back to back and then come back and talk about them. So that's going to be exciting. So if you want the link to the pilot and episode 1 down below, it's there. And then I think as far as when I'll watch episode 2, I think I'm just going to make it like a subscriber sub goal for right now. If I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'll watch episode 2. And let's say if I get to 11 or 12,000, I might watch the rest of the series. We'll see. We'll see. But at least episode 2, I'll be like, if I get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll watch episode 2. Sure. But I wanted to do something to commemorate this sub goal, and I figured I kind of wanted to see what this was about. So I have watched Hell of a Boss, just to put that out there. I have not watched all of Hell of a Boss. I think I got to like the carnival episode. I got to the carnival episode of Hell of a Boss, and that's as far as I got. But I have watched a lot of that series because I love Brandon Rogers as an actor, and he plays the voice of Blitz. And I love his character. He's hilarious. So yeah. I'm excited, y'all. Thank you all so much for supporting me. I hope you all enjoy this. It's something different for my channel. I don't watch a lot of Western shows, but I feel like that's kind of a good thing because it's something different, and I maybe know the cultural references of this one, but I'm ancient, so maybe not. So I am going to put the subtitles on this for the pilot. They are closed captioned, so they're not perfect, but for the actual episode, I will have English subtitles for our non-English speaking audiences. So let's dive into this and go back to this pilot and then watch episode 1. I'm super excited. I hope you all are too, but we're going to start this reaction and review here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go back through this. It's been so long. Okay, I don't think there's an end credit, so I'll stop that for a second. Oh my gosh. So we should probably talk about this. Oh man, it's so cool to see a series like Hazbin that was a pilot that they worked on. I remember it was 4 years ago. They worked on it for so long, and they were like, we hope it gets picked up. We hope it gets made into a series, but we don't know how long it's going to take, you know? And it did take 4 years to get done, but they were doing other things in the meantime, like Hell of a Boss and doing other little projects on the side. I say little, they're animation projects, they're huge. So I'm really excited that they have like a full-blown series. It looks amazing. The animation and production value of it, like there is a charm with the pilot that I love, and I usually love that with pilot series, even if it's not perfect. Like there's a lot that they've kind of like tightened narratively and like honed in on that I enjoy, but there's always something about that pilot episode that's kind of like raw and unfiltered, and it's nice. Now here, they don't get rid of the crassness. The violence is actually taken up to like another degree. Like they're sitting there eating the guts out of somebody in the street. Blah. That part was insane. So I enjoyed that. And then you have like Charlie, like Charlie's character, the new voice for Charlie. I like her. Elsie Lovelock does an amazing job in the pilot, but I do like Charlie's voice. It's great. Vaggie and Angel Dust and Alistair seem to have the same voice actors, as well as Nifty and Husker. The only part that I was like, oh no, is it the voice of Tom and Katie Killjoy. I loved their pilot voices, and the pilot voices don't quite sound to me as good, but you'll get used to them. It's fine. I do like, though, and I'm going to go back to here, the world building that we have that makes, you know, it makes the endeavors of Lucifer seem like, oh, you know, I like they go with the old school angel look. I like the old school angels where they're just like the biblical angels. There's some verses in the Bible that the angels are terrifying. They don't look like little happy humans all the time. No, they look freaking terrifying. I also like the idea that once you die, because if you've watched Hell of a Boss, when you die as a human and you go to heaven or hell, you do like metamorphosize and change. In hell, you become kind of a monster. And in heaven, seemingly, now are they masks? Are there their beings? Because in the preview, it looked like Adam and Eve looked human, but the Adam that is the leader of the angels does not look human. So is it like a mask? He actually has like a Blitzo face. So again, we're blurring the lines of heaven and hell, blurring like, is one better than the other? And we'll talk about that with Adam here in a little bit. But so these beings of pure light, and we have like, they're represented by different shapes and everything, right? So there is an idea, you know, Vaggie kind of suggests that the angels are deranged, and there's a question of, over time, did heaven start out as this pure place, and over time has it become corrupted like hell? And it's all kind of the same thing. Who knows? We'll just kind of have to see. But I like that Lucifer has all of these fantastical ideas as a dreamer, but he was seen as a troublemaker. And his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their new world, right? It paints Lucifer looking very, innocent, right? And then we see this one angel that seems to be like, is it a representation of God? Like sitting there with the big hair and everything, or the head angel. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how that goes because we don't really get to know a lot about them. And we see that, so Adam and Lilith were created from the dust. I'm going to turn the sound down on here so I can play this one scene again, because then Adam's like equals as the first of mankind, but Adam demanded control and Lilith refused to submit. And we see Adam like smiling about it. So I'm like, okay, was Adam just an absolute prick? Seems like the show is suggesting that. And so Lilith was like, no, thank you, bye. And then Eve ends up becoming his bride. And Lucifer ends up falling, for Lilith. And they fall in love together. Yeah. I'm excited to see both of them. And then together, and we see Lucifer rise up as a snake. We see Lilith and Eve. They wanted to share the magic of free will with humanity and thus gave Eve the fruit of knowledge, and that came with the curse that was disobedience. The act of disobedience and evil found its way to earth, and with it a new realm of darkness and sin. And the order they had worked to maintain was shattered. Yep. And so as punishment, they were sent down into the realm, into the dark pit that his love had created. And he was never allowed to see the good that came from humanity, only the cruel and the wicked. So here's the thing. Obviously, if you only see the bad in people over and over again, I'm assuming it would probably distort you and change you for the worse. I mean, Charlie's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? And she believes, from her storybook that there's a chance of redemption and a chance of good things to happen. But I'm curious to see how Lucifer has been changed by being surrounded by only corruption and evil, if that's like changed him from being this bright-eyed dreamer that he supposedly once was. So that'll be interesting. And to see where the hell Lilith has been. Why has she been gone for 7 years? Where does one go? We don't know, right? So that's interesting. Interesting indeed. And Charlie called her in the pilot, but they could have easily changed that plot point for this. So we'll see how we go from there. But I get the distinct impression from the pilot that Alistair doesn't like Lucifer and doesn't believe in this whole endeavor. So I'm curious if we're going to get anything else with that. And then Lucifer lost his will to dream, but Lilith thrived and empowered demonkind with her voice. So what's interesting is like Lilith being this empowerment, like she's the seductress, right? Like Lucifer lost I'm curious to see what their marriage is going to be like, if Lucifer and Lilith still get along and love each other, or if they're kind of like divorced or what it is, because Lucifer seemed like the way the show plays Lucifer is that he was a decent person that was punished for his, actions. And Lilith, though, seems like she's kind of the demon that's kind of the seductress and encouraging all of this sin. So very curious if she's been in the mortal realm this whole time or what's been going on. I don't know. Meanwhile, we have heaven made a heartless decision. I like that that's what the book says. So again, these are storybooks, so we don't really know the full thing. Now I'm wondering if Eve is the really pretty white angel and Adam is the one that's, of course, overshadowing her. The patriarchy basically being established here. And every year Adam sends down the angel troops to go against hell. That seems to be it. Like Eve seems to be the white angel and Adam's like the douche lord that's overpowering her, right? I like that we pick up only 5 days, 5 days after she wants to start Hazbin Hotel, and she's the one that's been in charge with the heart. I feel like maybe Charlie has like the voice of her mom, but is more like her dad, maybe, in terms of her ideology, seemingly. I also like she has this cat, this little cat. So Charlie is being played by Erica Henningsen, is the new voice actress, which is cool. And then Stephanie Beatriz plays Vaggie. Love Vaggie as a character. I wondered if her name was Vagina and that was the joke, and Angel Dust makes that joke here. But anyway, So I like that the hotel, like there's the eye and everything. And so she's like, she's doing something important. I'm sure this kingdom was something she really cared about. But she's been gone for 7 years. And it's become a problem. So we'll see how that goes. I like there's all of the callbacks and references to Hell of a Boss. There's a lot of characters that pop up that are seen throughout that series, especially like Moxie and Mitzi. I think that's right. So that's really funny. And then Alistair. So Alistair being interesting. Blake Roman playing Angel Dust. Love it. Okay, so Brandon Rogers, who plays the voice of Blitzo in Hell of a Boss, is also playing the voice of Katie Killjoy now. That's so curious why Brandon Rogers is playing the voice of Katie Killjoy. Maybe that'll get expanded upon and be even more funny in the future. Maybe. We'll see. But Blake Roman as Angel Dust does such a good job. I love Angel Dust's character. They are just absolutely horny as F on Maine. I also love the continuity that Angel Dust is like trying to get with Alistair, and Alistair's like, no. I remember a lot of people back when the pilot came out were saying that Alistair might be like asexual and just does not want anything to do with anyone. Perfectly fine. Totally can see that. I wonder if there's going to be like a rivalry develop between Alistair and Lucifer, if that's the case. But for me, it would be like, who's going to be the best mentor to Charlie? Is it going to be Lucifer, her dad, or Alistair? We'll see how that goes maybe if we see them in the series. I don't know. Alistair seems like he wants to be Charlie's mentor. I remember when people were trying to ship, they were trying to ship together Charlie and Alistair, and I was like, no, I don't see that at all. It's Charlie and Vaggie. Although we do see a little picture of Lucifer in the white suit with the cane with the apple on it and the snake wrapping around the brim. That's hilarious as she tries to work through her daddy issues. Oh my God. Also Nifty being like kind of kinky. Kimiko Glenn plays Nifty, but Nifty being like kinky and being like, I don't mind people getting on to me. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like just taking I love she has the sewing needle and she's like trying to kill the bugs. And then Husker being played by Keith David. Like again, Angel just trying to get with Husker. Cannot deal. Angel just wants to get with someone, right? They're just horny on Maine. So Alistair is played by Amir Talai. I think that's right. Amir Talai. Alistair's voice is incredible. I love their character, and they're absolutely sinister. Alistair definitely is like, they are the antagonist of the series, I feel, but they're the antagonist that's also not the antagonist. Does that make sense? Because like the angels seem like they're the antagonists. I mean, Adam's such a douche lord that I feel like Adam and the angels are going to be the overall arching villain. But Alistair comes across as this like gray anti-hero that is just absolutely chaotic evil. Absolutely chaotic evil. Like not even trying to do good. And I guess maybe you'd call them chaotic neutral if that was the case, but they're just chaos. And I find it interesting they want nothing to do with television because they're tied with radio. So there's that. The deal that he makes with Vaggie is suspicious because he's just like, don't ask me to be on TV anymore and I'll help you with your project. A curious moment of vulnerability, but I wonder if there was some fine print to that deal that Vaggie didn't even realize that's going to come out later. I don't know. I think Vaggie either has been one of these angel exterminators before and was demoted like Lucifer was, or was killed by one of the angels because she seems very wary of them. She doesn't want Charlie to be near them at all. She's a little bit more humanoid, so that's interesting because we don't really see what's under the helmets, if they're helmets with the angel exterminators, or if something changes when you die or however the case may be. That's a bit of world building I'm excited for, so we'll see where that goes. But she does seem to have some conflict about the angels and reservations, which are proven very apt, right? I'm sorry, if you've not watched Heaven Official's Blessing, this will make no sense to you, but Alistair is kind of like if Hua Chong and Junwoo combined into a character, right? And had all this power. Like, that's all they can remind me of, and it's just, and it could be the red theme, too, that helps as well. Could be it as well. But the humor in this episode, everything, there were some moments I was like, oh my God. And then Alistair, of course, being like, it's never going to happen. Don't even try. I like that Charlie's trying to be like, well, you have this special set of skills and we're going to try to like use it to make the hotel better. It's great. So, let's talk about the angels. She has her singing number. I like that her dad. I get why her dad sent her to talk to the angels. If Adam and Lucifer are the same, I mean Lucifer's a bit older than Adam, but I could see why Lucifer would not want to talk to Adam, especially the way that he acts in this. I'll be honest, I do love that during the musical number, Angel does she's already halfway down the road, and Vaggie's like, damn it. No. And then, of course, everybody is it's just absolute carnage. It reminded me of Beauty and the Beast when Belle's like, bonjour, bonjour, and the guy's like, F you, F you. It's like... So here's my thing about the angels. I like that there's this random embassy that is there. If you want to communicate with the angels, I like it's this embassy. And that everything's all pristine and all of that. And she's like, okay, I have to sign my soul away to come meet with you. Cool. So Adam is played by Alex Brightman, and Lute is played by Jessica Vosk. Lute is interesting. I don't know if Lute is Adam's side hustle and Eve doesn't know about it. I'm curious because... Okay, so you have the one angel there, Lute, the angel thing here. There's a halo with an eye above their head, but their one eye has an X through it. And I was like, is that kind of like Vaggie having the X through her eye? How does that work? Is it like a sniper rifle? Also, what's interesting about their designs are that they look like Blitzo. They look like demons, which is okay, we're gonna make that comparison. And they have just the halos instead of horns necessarily. But at first I was a little disappointed because what I was expecting with the angels was, and Hell of a Boss kind of, I think, has an episode that tackles it a little bit where it's all fluffy and oh my gosh, we're so great to see you. What I was expecting was the holier than thou sugarcoating, being oh my goodness, but we're doing such kind things by helping to curb the population. And Charlie, that's so sweet that you suggest that, but it's so futile what you're suggesting and not reasonable at all. And there's no way we're going to do that. I thought it was going to be very like poisoned honey, very sugary and flowery in their absolute dissent and disdain against her ideas. And they were just going to I thought they were going to do the passive aggressive, just be oh, well, thank you for telling us your ideas. We will consider them in 300 years. So we've got to go through a lot of paperwork, but thank you for your idea. We'll come back and talk to you later. We'll call you. I thought it was going to be that passive aggressive. And so seeing Adam just cursing and being completely sexist and of the patriarchy, he's Ken from the Barbie movie, only an asshole. And it was interesting because I was oh, well, this doesn't make him seem that much different than the demons, right? But then that's the point. And I was oh, yeah. So the point of it is that, it's kind of in real life, the people that are holier than thou, that are just F this, F that, but I go to church on Sunday, so I'm fine. And I'm a good person, but you're not a good person because of the things that you do. I was oh, that's the angle they're going with. They're going with that angle of just being absolutely real and absolutely annoying. And that's the angle with Adam. Because yeah, I know people in real life that are just just they're homophobic, or they are sexist, or they're ageist or ableist, or they're all these just awful generalizing stereotypes against people that dehumanize populations. But then they're oh, but I'm a good person because I do this. And it's but you're not a good person because you're being a jerk. And what? No. And so I appreciate now, as the episode went on and Adam was singing a song, I was oh, they're going this route and showing this hypocrisy. And that's how they're portraying the angels. I'm okay, you could have gone either way with it. You could have gone the sugary, sweet, holier than thou route, and it would have been annoying and frustrating. But this route is equally frustrating because you're you're no different than the demons. So what? Why do you get to have the nice, shiny place? And we don't know. We've only seen how heaven is depicted in the storybook. We don't exactly know how it actually is yet. So I'm so curious, right? But he's just absolutely awful. Adam is just, I can get, and I like that Charlie's yeah, I see why my dad didn't want to meet with you. That all makes total sense now. I love the commercial and Angel just getting into it and Vaggie being like, come on, it's wonderful. And then he's like, I'm the original dick. Adam, oh my God, I'm the original dick is, that's a thing. That's a thing. I'm like, oh, well, if the world's population came from you, then some things have been explained, right? And Charlie's just like, okay. I wanted to know if they were curious about her being born in hell and that being a thing. So interesting. He's like, I rock. And then she's like, well, I'm trying to like tell you my deal. And he's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I liked the Nifty just staring soullessly into the camera. I'm wondering if that has something to do with Alistair or if that's just like a trait where she's like gets stage fright and she's like just doesn't react to it, because Alistair kind of brought her out of the soot and everything. So I am glad I rewatched the pilot because these characters all kind of come from that pilot and are expanded upon in this, which is nice. Also, I like that some of the artwork in the hotel is like the snakes above the tree. There's like two snakes coming out of a pot, which represents like Lilith and Lucifer. Interesting. There's also lots of eyes watching. I love the animation of the scene of Alistair confronting Vaggie with the deal to get her to create the commercial. And he's just there and there's all the shadows coming out there. He's like, this is a waste of opportunity, but I want to see people fail. Like, Alistair is like chaotic evil. He's embodied evil. It's just he wants to see them fail, but he's like, sure, this is entertaining. I'll help you out. You're not a threat to me. And I love that she tries to videotape him and he's like, no, the revolution will not be televised. There's a TV demon, so I'm excited to see if the TV demon has a beef with Alistair, because obviously Alistair seems to hate the television. He's like, this face was made for radio. So, so much that I don't want to be spoiled, but there's so much that I'm excited to see being expanded upon. I'm like, should be a good time. Should be a good time, right? But yeah, so much to look into. And then pacing back and forth. And he's like, I don't want your soul. I just want you to stop filming me. And she's like, fine. And then they get them all ready. I like that that Husker's like outfit. Everybody has these like Sailor Moon magical girl transformations and Husker's cuffs just get longer. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Love it. And then yeah, Adam's like, I thought you wanted equality. And she's like, no. It's our shared problem. He's like, oh, we've got that covered. We go down once a year and solve the problem. And she's like, but we need to rehabilitate people. And Adam's like, no, you don't get to rehabilitate. Once they die, they either go one place or the other. And once you're there, you don't get to go to another place. So that's interesting. It's very black and white. And it's like you either go here or you go there. And then once you're there, you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to change anything. I like Adam's like, I've never made a mistake in my effing life. And then Lute says, the only reason you're here is because Daddy gave you and your hell-born kind a pardon from an exorcist blade. Okay. Interesting. How does that feel to know how little you matter? So I'm assuming Daddy is talking about Lucifer and not God. So we'll see how that goes. And then that's when Adam says, oh, by the way, we're kind of done and we're just gonna exterminate y'all in 6 months again instead of waiting a year, because that's a long time. I like that he says guitar, like effing guitar solo, and announces it. Ridiculous. And he's like, yeah, we're moving up our next extermination because F you, I do what I want. Oh my God. I'm glad they don't beat around the bush with it either. I thought that maybe it was going to become like a secret where she wasn't going to tell anybody when the next extermination was. And then they're like, oh, by the way, it's happening in 6 months. And Charlie's like, oh no. And then they do the commercial. And Tom Trench is played by, does it say on here? I don't think it says on there anymore. But Brandon Rogers is doing Katie Killjoy. And then they were royally effed. I like that everything in heaven looks very like smooth and steely and metallic, whereas kind of hell looks very organic and mushy. Also, so the big mystery though is that someone has killed an angel. And that's not supposed to be possible. I like the blood is gold. That's so crazy. It's like just pure light. We found the body. They've never managed to kill one of us before. Uh-huh. We should go down there and destroy them. I like the shadow of loot on the projector. I love that. Like the demonic shadows, you know? So he's like, no, we can't risk them catching on. So, but when we come back, there won't be a demon left to pull a stunt like this again. So, the reason why they're upping the execution is because somebody's been able to kill an angel, and that's never happened before, and that freaks them out. So, I love that we have a mystery. Who killed the angel? How did they do it? Where's the head? What is happening? So, yeah. I don't want to wait too long to watch episode 2 because I'm really excited about this, but I don't have a lot of time in my schedule to just power through the season right now. So I'm going to leave that up to you all. So if I get my next sub goal, which is 10,000, I will definitely watch episode 2. 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I will definitely watch episode 2 and react and review to it all. That's super exciting. I'm kind of partially the way there, so who knows? But I really, really liked this opening episode. It was very interesting. The music was fun. Getting some world building was cool. And then, of course, it's hilarious. So, but yeah, I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below. Please, no spoilers. Don't answer my questions of if such and such will happen. We'll find out when we watch it. I'm sure we will. So please, no spoilers. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you all so much for your support. Stay safe, take care, and hopefully I'll see you all again real soon with more Hazbin Hotel. Bye.